If you love music, then do more than just listen. Connor's Music.
Welcome to John Connor's Live. I'm live from Connor's Music at a special time with some special instruments at the wrong time, I discovered. My plan was to go live at 7:30, and I accidentally put 7 is what I discovered. So I apologize to anyone who was sitting there hanging out and waiting and going, where is John? I've been waiting for the show for 24 minutes. I wasn't able to start early when I noticed this mistake because I was in the city. My son had an appointment, so we did the drive together, which was great. But it gave me an opportunity to be grateful that I'm not a commuter. Let's put it that way, because driving back from Toronto on a weeknight, because for those of you that don't know, Connor's Music is located in Keswick, Ontario. And so at the end of the 404, you get off and you're right there in Keswick. So it was, the busiest highway. So, but Dan says, hey, John, better late than never. Right. So thanks, Dan, for hanging on. And I see the eyeballs are coming in there. So people are watching. So please make sure you say, hey, and throw questions at me. Cause today again is a unique instrument night. You can't really see it. I'm going to just tip the screen for a sec so you can get a glimpse of tonight's instrument, the main attraction. And whether you're watching on Facebook or if you're watching on YouTube, and we're also streaming on Twitter, so or X. But again, I think I mentioned, maybe I just won't say it again after this. I'm going to keep calling it Twitter, just like I still call Rogers Center, whatever they call it in Toronto. I still call it Skydome. That's where I go to watch the Jays play, is at Skydome. Or where I went to go see the Argos play. They're now at BMO Field. But it's still Skydome to me. So tonight's instrument is the steel drum. I've now played it a tiny bit, but prior to their arrival last week and a few minutes this evening, I'd never played them before. So it's a fun instrument. And the one that we got a couple of different models here at the store, but they're called the Jumbie Jam by Panyard. And we're super excited to have a partnership with Panyard drums to bring these into the greater Georgina area for you. And so the ones we got, these Jumbie Jam kits, are like a starter kit. So they're affordable. They're not huge. So it's about, yay big. And comes with a stand and everything you need, and these cool drumstick mallets. And they've got like a rubbery tip to them. And so and they come labeled. So I thought I can handle this, and this is why I thought I could handle this, was that when I looked at the drum, when I unpacked it, each little I'm going to call them bubbles for lack of knowing the actual terms, but there's like the spot where it convexes up that you hit, you get a unique note. They're labeled, so I've got letter names on it. So that was helpful, because I don't think I would have known. I would have had to figure it out and then memorize where all those pitches are. So that would have been challenge number one. And the Jumbie Jam kit comes with all the notes. It's in one scale, so you don't have to worry about a plethora of notes. This is in the key of G, so it's got a G scale, which I'll play for you in a second. And then so the two instruments I'm going to draw on a bit of previous knowledge from to be able to play this tonight is my piano knowledge, or music theory knowledge, more than specifically piano, but the ability to know the notes. And then my drumming experience. So I have a little bit of both. Well, piano was my first instrument. So, and then music theory is sort of my fun, it's a coffee table, water cooler conversation for me. So if you have theory questions about the G major scale or even anything else, you want to throw it in the chat, challenge me with a good theory question. I'm happy to answer that, especially if it is pertaining to this. That would be the best. But And so I could draw on that. And then with drumming, you learn roll patterns, you learn different things. So there's nothing complex I'm going to tackle in the drumming world today. But when it said the word roll, I knew what that meant, and I was like, okay, I can do a little drum roll. It also suggested trying not to just use your dominant hand all the time. So I was like, okay, that makes sense to me. When you're trying to drum, you're trying to alternate a lot of the time. And even like sort of the basic snare drumming start is to get you doing this and trying to hit on an even level so that your right hand isn't louder than your left hand if you're right hand dominant. So there we go. So there's a little bit of that. So again, I see you guys are watching. Make sure you say, hey, I want to see where you're watching from. And I want to know if you have questions about steel drums, music theory, anything. Okay. Put it in there. Questions about the meaning of life. And I was fully expecting on Twitter to get some like controversial, hard questions to answer, or, criticism. I'm open to criticism. I can handle it. So, well, I say that now. You never know. Let's hear the drum. Let's start with that. So I've got, for my little rig today, I've got my dynamic mic that I'm speaking into, and I've got my Aston Stealth. I chose to put it in dynamic mode, and it's hung you can see just the edge of it right there, hung over the drum. Seemed to be a good place to pick it up. When I had it with the condenser, it was a little too loud, especially with the earlier show time tonight. There's lots of lessons still going on in the store today, so that there was a lot of spill. So I went with the dynamic mode, and I'm plugged in through my Personas Revelator, and then streaming to you via StreamYard, again on Facebook, YouTube, and Twitter. All right, so G major scale. There we go. So let me know if you can hear that okay and what you think of the tone. I'm just going to turn the volume up a little teensy bit on the drum and try that one more time for you. Oh, maybe no. No, I think I like the volume where it was at. Should have trusted my previous settings. I'm getting like a little ring off of it, right? So that's a G major scale there for you. Okay. And then we're going to, so along with the book, along with the drums, Panyard sent us this great book here, and it's called Songs by Letter, Jumbie Jam. And these drums are made in the States. So I believe in Ohio is where Jumbie Jam is from, and they've been great. World leaders in musical steel pans and accessories. So this book does not require you to learn how to read music to be able to use it. They've used letter names, which you can just correspond to the note name that's on the drum. So I'm going to play the first song in this book, and I'm hoping if I do it well enough, you'll be able to guess the title of the song. These are folk favorites, classic entry-level songs for kids to learn an instrument with. So when I play the song, as soon as you know the title, put your answer in there, okay? And we'll see if you can guess it. All right, so here we go. First song on the steel pan drum, the Jumbie Jam drum from Panyard on John Connors Live. Ooh, here we go. Lost my spot. So there we have it. There's our first tune. Put in the comment section the title of said tune if you can know it. I think I got all the notes right, but I definitely had some little rhythmic gaps, some spots in there that I didn't quite nail. But hopefully it was done well enough you could guess. There we go. Whew. I was getting a little nervous. I'm like, there's lots of you watching. Why isn't anyone able to? Thank you, Nick Jackson. Twinkle, Little Star. Well, technically it's Twinkle, Twinkle, Little Star, but you got it right. So I'm not going to make fun of you because you're jumped in there for you. All right. So we got another one. Now this next one is going to require my first roll. So to do a roll, literally, I'm just going to alternate the sticks on a note just like this. Okay, and let's see how this goes. Okay, here we go. Song number 2 on the Jumbie Jam steel pan drum on John Connor's Live. Here we go. Oh. Hold on. Oh, I was missing a note. There we go. Okay, good. All right. I already got the answer. I didn't even look up. I was so focused on getting that melody right. And Dan had already jumped in with the accurate answer. Thank you for Old MacDonald Had a Farm. I think what threw me off, I was singing on Old MacDonald, and I didn't get that rhythm right until I got into it. So, like any instrument, it requires practice to be able to get proficient at the instrument. And I didn't say tune into John Connor's Live for an expert performance on the steel drum. I said tune in to see me learn how to play the steel drum. So, according to this is our first controversial question. Thank you, Nick Jackson. According to the Panyard book here, according to Songs by Letter Jumbie Jam, it's MacDonald. So there we go. And so Russell says, hello, John. Love the steel drum music. When in the Caribbean, always try to find a group playing 100%. Right. And it was kind of neat this past year. I'll respond to this next comment in a second. This past year at the Sutton Santa Claus Parade, I was playing with the Connors brothers, but the float behind us was steel drummers, and they were the York steel pan drum group, and super talented. Like, we're talking expert steel drummers. They've got the large drums and playing them very well. And after the parade was done, when we kind of reconvened at where the Sutton Arena is there, I met up with one of the members of the steel drum, and I said how great it sounded. The sounds of the Caribbean cascading toward us from from behind us in the parade. And he was saying how great that parade was. And he said, we do lots of parades, and he really enjoyed the atmosphere, the attendance, everything about the Sutton Santa Claus Parade, the Parade of Lights. And it's neat because it's done at night and it looks so good. And Nick here says, I forgot Nick was involved in this. We booked them again. They're coming back for next year's parade. So hopefully by that time, we'll have a bunch of steel drummers in Keswick who can really appreciate what's going on, because they're learning themselves. When we brought these in, we brought in a chrome one that has already sold, and then the one that you see me playing today, and I just kind of showed you there, right? So that's it's a silver color one. My light is shining off it, so it looks really shiny, but it is more of a matte silver. And then behind me, the kit comes in a box like this, so nice and easy to get home, nice to give as a gift as well. It comes in blue as well, and I've actually got a picture of that here. You can see the blue one. I think I've just got it in the kit with like these right now, not with the feet or the tabletop version. And easy for maintenance. They were saying here in the book, just to not hit it hard, not drop it. You got to be careful with it because, impact would affect the tuning. But otherwise, yeah, just wipe them down and keep them and enjoy them. Okay, enough of that stuff. Let's hear you do the opening to Layla, LOL. Dun, 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 dun. No. Dun, dun, dun. Oh, it's a B flat. I can't have that. Okay, so let's try it in E. E dun, 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 dun. Layla. Okay, there we go. That's all I got. And Dan says his wife was from the islands, and that's so. This is where that music, as far as I know, I don't know the history of it all, but what I've experienced and seen is that's where it originates from. So, any insight into the history, the origin of steel drumming, please go ahead and add it into the chat if you know, because it's not my area of expertise. Okay, so I'm going to get to my next song from the book. So back to this stuff. Sorry there, Ross. Okay, I got two more I'm going to do for you today from the book. But yeah, any melody that's within one scale you can play, So I just, when I said, oh, I can't do that, it's got B flat in it, right? So Layla, from what I recall, is in the key of D minor. So D minor, C, B flat, C, and then D. So there's no B flat note on my drum here. So then I thought, well, I'll transpose it up to the key of E minor so that I could have E minor, D, C, D, E minor. And that's where I got the other thing that I did a tiny bit on, but I haven't been doing a lot, is that you can play pairs of notes to create harmonies, right? So, if this is my scale, G, A, B, C, D, E, F, G, then if you go thirds, so I got G and B, A and C, B and D, then A, B, C and E, D and F sharp, right? E and G. So that creates some really neat sounds, right? You can pair like a fourth as well. It doesn't have to be thirds. So, as an example, okay? Can you play some Aiko? I don't know Aiko. Sorry, Nick. Maybe next time. I'll have to learn it, learn some songs. Okay, so my next big tune here on the Jumbie Jam steel drum. See if you can name this tune. Can I do it again? I like the way the tone builds when you roll on a note. Here we go. We got it. Dan is on the ball. And Dan says Nick says next time for Aiko. I'll check it. Do they use steel drums? Is that name a group that uses steel drums, a rock group or a contemporary group that you're familiar with? Hey, Russell got it too. I'm sure you were mid typing. You didn't see Dan's answer first. You're mid typing and Dan's answer came up there. So, okay, we got one more here we're going to do. And then if you have any questions, again, about the steel drum, about the theory of playing in one key, the theory of a major scale, the theory of harmony, feel free to throw those in there. And if you have any comments of songs that would be cool to play on the steel drum. But yeah, this one is the last song in the book. So, this is your expert level for entry level steel drum playing. It's got more rolls in it. I did practice this one a little bit before. I ran it a couple times. So hopefully you're going to get your best performance here. And I'm going to just throw a tiny bit of reverb on because I kept forgetting to do that on the drum here so that we can see what that sounds like. All right, here we go. So final tune of from the Jumbie Jam. entry level, learn how to play songs, but you don't have to read music book. Here we go. Okay, I'm starting over. That's what my students do sometimes. They're playing a song and they mess up and they're like, no, from the top. I go, no, keep playing. But here I did. I was like, no, from the top. Here we go. And Russell nailed it here. Oh, okay. But before Russell nailed it, so did Donna. Thank you for that. Oh, when the Saints, and Joe says, when the Saints go marching in, way to go, John Ryan Boyd, Jumbie Jam Master. There we go. And thank you, Joe. But Russell there was the first one I saw, when the Saints go marching in. So what a great melody, and you can play it all with one scale, so that's helpful. You know, at Christmas time, you could totally nail a, you know, any song that's stuck within one scale would. Oh, it was supposed to be That Was John Boy. I was like, who's John Ryan Boyd? Ryan Boyd, of course, being one of our teachers here, and Joe got caught by the autocorrect fail. You know, it could have been worse, Joe. So we'll take just a little name mistake as no issue, no skin off my back. So any other questions? Throw them in the chat. I was hoping to get something, you know, from Twitter today, but that's okay. Facebook rules on the live stream most nights, and once again, that's where. Thank you again for your viewing and your comments from Facebook. It's much appreciated. See, he turned it into no skin off your Bach. So, but I'm not going to play a Bach piece on the steel drum today. Oh, and still another one there. Yeah, skin of your Bach. No, skin off your Bach. He was doing a great music pun there. Thanks, Joe. Okay, so and then before we sign off today, I will say it was another treat from this company is that they have a line of hand drums that they sent along with our order. So that included these bongos, which what I thought was extra cool is if you've got a younger beginner, they've got indications of where to hit on the drum. And this reminded me of a visit my wife and I did to Cuba. Kim and I were down there, and they had a set of bongos on a stand, and they were like, I think kind of teasing all the guests, like, here, come up, see if you can play these, right? And so people go up and they'd hit it like this. You go, oh, that's not. And they go, oh, you got it wrong. It's got to be like, right? And so they were making all these great tones out of them. It's sort of like not designed to do on the stool like this, but see if I can get it like this. Great tones because of where they're hitting on the drum. And this drum tells me, hey, slap it on the edge. And even has like a little fingerprint of where you do it. And then if you want a more bassy tone, and the proof was in the fact that I put this out in the showroom, and the very night that we did the display, we had a young student and they looked at the drum and they went and got excited that they heard the tone. Now, I didn't go up, and when we were in Cuba, I didn't go up and show off that I knew how to play a bongo, because I knew, although I could get a tone out of it, I'm not a bongo expert. So I just enjoyed the entertainment. So another drum they sent, they call this the floor tom 8-inch with beater. So once again, you can hit it with your hand, get different tones, but it also included mallets. So you can get some really neat really neat tones out of it that way. So that's kind of fun. And like, you know, Joe, for example, this would be a great gift for me to get for your kids. Right? I feel like I want to say like so I can get him back, but he's always been so great with the kids and never really actually caused any trouble. He was always very helpful with when my kids were little. So maybe I won't. Actually, you love the noise in the house though too, and that's the thing. I hear a lot of parents like, you know, the joke is, oh, drums, but you love when you hear your kids doing stuff and they're active. So if you hear the drums playing in the other room, as much as it might be noise, isn't that much nicer than hearing like just a screen going off in the other room, right? Just saying. So okay, and then the other drum that we got here is African style Jumbie, and again with some hand markings to get the different tones. These are one of my favorite hand drums. So there's my slap tone on the side, bass. Right? Bring these two instruments together and you got a really new, unique fusion. So very cool. So this is available now in store as well. And I think that's it. There was, yeah, and then the book, of course. That was the other thing I was thinking of. So thanks again for tuning in for John learning how to play the steel drum in front of you guys. And I think it went not too bad. I'm not ready to join the York steel drummers in the parade next year, but I feel confident that I could have some fun with these. So, and that's what music's all about. So having some fun and sharing in the music. So thanks again for tuning in. That's it for tonight. And you never know what we're going to get into next week or next live stream, which will be, again, we're on the first and third Wednesdays of the month. Normally at 8:30, we bumped it up a little bit earlier tonight, but you'll see us back at 8:30 for the next live stream. Thanks again and have a great night. Stay well.